Hi, and thanks for joining me. And in this video, we're going to review a couple of add-ons and one extension that I think you're going to love when it comes to overall document creation and student engagement in your classroom. Now, the first one we're going to look at is Pear Deck. Pear Deck is an add-on that's available for Google Slides, and once you add it to your account, it's up here in the add-ons menu, and you just go down to Pear Deck, and what it does is it opens up this sidebar that allows you to add content to your slideshow so that your slideshow becomes an engagement tool. So think in terms of like the flipped classroom, where you're wanting to teach a concept, but throughout the concept, you don't want just a slideshow that the kids watch and set so that they're just a casual observer. You want something that they're engaging in. So this allows you to insert questions and activities where they can engage with the content as they're learning it. And so to give you an idea, I'm just going to throw a couple of slides on here. And so let's say, for instance, this is the beginning of the lesson. So I'll click on the beginning of the lesson, and they give you some different options here. Like, for instance, what did you learn from the homework? Okay, so if I click on that one, it'll add it into my slide presentation. So see there, it's adding it. And once it's added, you'll notice down here at the bottom it says students write your response. So this is actually a slide where the students can respond to the content. Now that's for the beginning of lesson. Then for during lesson activities, they have other things such as summarize what you just learned, which is similar to the one that we're looking at now. But one that I kind of like here, because I used to be a history teacher, is this text slide that has the timeline. I'm going to throw that one in. So you can see there it's adding that one in. And it looks like it doubled up on me, so I'm going to get rid of this one. And you can see here that, you know, I can double click and type inside any of these, so I'm just going to add a couple of dates in here. So for instance, for sake of time, we'll just throw in a couple of random dates. And as you'll see in a minute, each of these slides that we're putting in here can become a place for the student to engage with the content. Okay, but if you've never used Pear Deck, I think you're really going to love this one. And then finally, I'm going to add one more slide, and let's do an end of lesson slide. And this is, you know, say for instance, you're doing an exit ticket in your classroom and you want to just get the overall understanding of the student, how they feel. So we'll do one of these circle how you're feeling options here. And it's inserting that one. Okay. And so now we've got our 3 slides. And so I'm going to present this as a Pear Deck lesson. And the way you do that is you go up to the top of your sidebar menu and you click Present with Pear Deck. Now, in addition to showing you what this looks like for the teacher, I'm also going to record this on my phone so that you can see what this looks like for the student. And so let's say your students are responding on their mobile devices, doesn't matter what. They could be on a Chromebook, a phone, anything that they have that can connect to the Wi-Fi in your classroom. And so here's our Google Drive, or our Google Slideshow is being converted over to a Pear Deck format. And the student is going to go open up their browser. And from Pear Deck, as you can see here, my slides are being loaded. And in a minute, it's going to give me a web address and a code that the students can use to join in. Now it's walking me through some things here. It's asking me if I can see this on my projector, so I'll click yes. And so as a student, I'll click joinpd.com on my browser, and then it'll open up a spot where I can enter the code. And so as a student, I'm entering the code, OVXGS. And it picks up the code and it will take me straight into the presentation. Of course, now down here at the bottom in a second that you'll see one student has joined. Okay, and so it's waiting on the teacher to present. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. And it says, what did you learn from the homework? And so the student can answer here anything that they want to. I'm going to say lots of dates and facts. Okay. And so the student has answered, and then down here at the bottom I can click project student responses, and it will show the response from the student as I put it in here on my phone. Okay, then we'll move on to the next slide, and I'm going to unclick off of the student responses. The next slide says write down why these events are important, and so for the first one I'm going to put Columbus. Okay, and then for the second one I'll put Independence. Okay, and so you kind of get the idea of what's going on here. Okay, and so down at the bottom I can again click project student responses, and you can see that those are coming in. And then finally I'm going to go back to the last one. It says circle how you're feeling. And of course you can see how this is showing up on my phone, so I can choose whatever color I want to circle my thoughts, and I'm going to circle everything is going fine, the happy face on the left side. And again, you can see that how the students are responding in each case. So you can see where this would be a really nice, engaging activity. So earlier I said flipped classroom. You could give the kids a designated time of the evening when you want them to log in and do the lesson with you, and they could get the code and the web address, and they could be engaging in a little homework from home, from the school bus, wherever they have access. Or you could do this as an in-class activity. So I'm going to go ahead and close this one out and take you on to the next one. So the next one is called Insert Learning, and this is an extension that you can get for Chrome. Now let's say for instance you found a website that you want your students to read, review, and then cover in class the next day, but you don't want it to just be a passive activity that they go and do. And you know, whenever you have students read articles online, how do you truly know that they read the article? Well, Insert Learning helps you with that by allowing you to mark up your articles and add questions and interactivity to it. So once I go to my site, I can just go to Insert Learning, and it will load the bar on the left hand side. And from here I can go through the article, and let's say for instance I'm going to skip down to the portion of the article down here on Google Docs. So let's say I want to highlight some text. I turn on the highlight tool and I highlight the piece of the article that I want the students to review. Okay, we'll highlight some more here, get the rest of that. Okay, and then let's say for instance we're going to insert a question. We'll throw the question right there, and I can say for which type of Google tool is a HyperDoc best suited. Okay, and we'll hit create, and now that is a question that the students can answer on their own. Okay, but you also have some discussion questions too. For instance, I can go down to the bottom and I could say insert discussion, and we want to go to the section on Google Classroom. So I'll click insert discussion, and we'll click on this paragraph here, and we can say discuss your thoughts on Google Classroom. How do you feel it changes the learning process? So this is a question that the students can all respond to. And when we're finished with this, what we can do is I can click assign. Now I'm going to tell it that I want to assign this website with these questions and highlights to my new class, and I'll click share to Google Classroom. So it's contacting my Google class, and I'll say share to these classes, and it's done. So let's close that menu, and we'll jump over here and we'll take a look inside that demo class, and you'll see at the very top here, increase student engagement with G Suite. That was the name of the article. And if the students click on that lesson, it says insert learning lesson at the top. It will load the article, and it'll also load the insert learning extension to the article. And as the students scroll down after it's done loading, they'll see the places that I've highlighted. They'll also see the questions that I left behind for them to answer. as well as at the bottom of the article, the discussion tool that I wanted them to engage in. So this is a really nice piece if you're just wanting students to review several articles, yet you don't want them to just be flipping through them really fast. You want to make sure that they understood what they're reading. Ask them some questions along the way. Highlight some of the pieces. Add little notes in there, such as a sticky note, to kind of give them some emphasis, saying, how would you form this paragraph into a test question? Things like that. Finally, the last tool that I want to review is the add-on for Google Slides called Insert Icons. So, like I said earlier, if you go to the add-ons menu and you go to Get Add-ons, you can find all sorts of different tools, like the Pear Deck add-on that we looked at a second ago. But Insert Icons is one that I love because whenever I'm creating presentations for workshops that I'm going to, one of the things that I'm always looking for are, icons and graphics that I can use in slideshows. And I really like this one because it's just got a huge library of icons that you can throw into your slideshow. So let's say, for instance, I want an icon for Google Drive. So over here at the top, I'm going to click on search. I'm going to type Google, and here are the Google icons. And so maybe I don't want that color. So I go up here to the color wheel, and I can either pick a color and it will change the icons to that color, or if I know hex values, then I can highlight that and I can put in my own hex values. And of course, when I'm ready to insert the icon, I just click it and it will add it to the page, and then I can resize it and move it where I want to on the page. And so I've got my icon. Go on to the next slide. See, we've got a slide here on Google Plus. And so I want the Google Plus icon, but I want that to be red. So, you can play around with this as much as you want to. Find the things that work for you. Like I said, it's not just Google. It's anything that you could think of. For instance, I was playing with this earlier, and I looked up Apple icons. They've got Amazon icons. Pretty much anything that you could think of. Well, hopefully that gives you something to chew on as far as new tools to use for the spring semester. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. And again, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.